goddesses. How are you? I want to ask you guys a question today. It's not a difficult question, but it is a question. You don't get asked this question either, I'm sure. My question is though, have you ever heard of dopamine? D-O-P-A-M-I-N-E. Look this up. Dopamine could be the very reason you experiencing problems with relationships. Fellas, you too. It could be the very reason. Dopamine is a chemical that's produced when you are aroused. So, did you know that testosterone is believed to be the primary cause of an erection or desire, but that has been proven not to be true? Early in the morning, during REM sleep, or in the late hours of the night, during REM sleep, you produce testosterone, and this is what produces the erection in men early in the morning. But to be aroused outside of waking up early in the morning, dopamine is required, is the foundation for producing an erection. It produces desire and arousal. It is a primal instinct that we all have. It is how we create. I'm saying this to you so you can understand that maybe dopamine is the reason that you're experiencing problems in your relationships. Think about it. Men, when you see a woman, and a lot of times, let me just clarify, a lot of women think that you guys are dogs. But I know firsthand that just from conversations with men, and a lot of you men can attest to this, a lot of us don't like losing interest after we have sex. And I've heard a lot of men say it, man, I don't know why, I'm just like that. Like, every time I have sex, I lose interest. Or, I don't want to sleep with her because I really like her and I know how I get. So we try to even protect ourselves from hurting someone. And women, a lot of times, they kind of do the same thing. They will lose interest after sex. And now a man's left feeling the same way, hurt and used, the same way women are. I'm saying that to say what we immediately do is villainize that person. We make them a bad person, saying that they used us or manipulated us. What if I told you that dopamine, the root word in dopamine is dope, often associated with drugs or substances that we use to achieve a certain effect, to achieve a certain feel. Dopamine, though, is a chemical that's produced naturally by the brain, and it can produce the same effects as alcohol or other drugs. It's the same chemical. In fact, drugs makes your body produce dopamine or puts dopamine into your body. It's the same chemical, though. See, when your body's producing dopamine, you become intoxicated. You make bad decisions, or you make decisions that you wouldn't make when you were sober. Have you ever known a crackhead, right, or a person who's addicted to any other drugs to make good decisions while they were under the influence of that drug, alcohol, whatever the case may be? The same way, the person that you're dealing with or yourself could be experiencing a dopamine high, and you don't even know it. So yeah, that man is looking into your eyes, being sincere, telling you that he loves you. You're the most beautiful thing that he saw, he wants to spend his life with you. What if I told you at that moment he meant it? And at that moment when you told him that you were into him as well, in the same exact way you expressed the mutual feeling, and the next day you felt differently, or directly after you felt differently, because that you sobered up once you hit your orgasm. Let me just explain to you what an orgasm does for your brain. By the time you actually experience an orgasm, more than 30 major brain systems are activated, including a number of seemingly unrelated brain areas, such as the limbic system, that involves the memory and emotions. And just think about that. That involves memory and emotions. This is why you feel love. The hypothalamus, which involves unconscious body control. This explains the erection in men and women actually getting wet. And the prefrontal cortex, involved in judgment and problem solving. The prefrontal cortex is involved in judgment and problem solving. Think about this. This is exactly why we make bad decisions. So you have to understand that just because you didn't see someone take in anything from the outside, or as in like any substance or alcohol or anything like that, doesn't mean that they are not intoxicated. Women, the reason that you make some of the decisions that you make is because you're intoxicated. You're high. You're under the influence. When you see someone that you like or that you're attracted to, that appeals to you, you get aroused as well, and you give off these sensors. A lot of women, they consider it to be classy to sit back and let the man come to them. Even when you're doing that, you're still sending signals whether you know it or not. Just as every other animal has a mating call. You may brush your hair back, right? You might make excessive eye contact. You may smile a lot. You may turn your hips or walk with a sway in a certain way because you're interested. You're calling him and you know it. Now, a man is going to receive those signals. And because he's seeing the signals you're putting out, he's going to then feel attracted to you. And then that's going to increase his dopamine. And that's going to give him the ability to even walk over and speak to you. And when it comes to that, we have to understand what dopamine does and what it is. If you want to keep this from happening, you have to understand, and men too, have a discussion. Ask what it is that you both want, okay? Be honest with each other. If you want to experience each other and just have fun, say that. You never know, the other person may be feeling the same way. If you want a relationship, if you want to move forward and get married and have children, these things should be discussed. But understand, if you meet someone that says, I just want to experience you, I just want to have fun, that doesn't mean that it won't turn into love. Just as much as meeting someone who wants to be in a relationship and get married and have children one day may not end in a long-term relationship with you being with that person. It just may not be that way. You may realize that you're not compatible. So please understand, because someone wants the same things as you does not mean they are compatible with you. You have to understand what really makes you happy. Make those things known. What makes you happy, because that person may not be into the same things. And if you like that to experience happiness, then you would be unhappy in a relationship where you don't have anything in common. So make those things known. When you're leaving, religion and you're going into, consciousness, and you have this freedom now, no longer feeling guilty for having sex, you can end up with a world of hurt if you're not careful, okay? Because what will happen is you get hurt a lot. You give of yourself too often because you're not going to a hell now, right? But what happens is you're dealing with their energy now. It takes a big role in your life. So just understand that if you're going to be giving of yourself, just understand who you're dealing with. Don't swap energies with someone who isn't worthy of you. Don't allow someone to enter you who isn't worthy of you. If you're sleeping with someone who's vibrating really low or thinking really low, you will take on that energy. You see, a lot of people look at Sierra when she's with Russell Wilson and Sierra when she's with Future, and they say things like the woman will become the man that she's with. In a sense, she kind of will. She will take on the energy from that man and the characteristics of that man. This is what happens if you sleep with someone who vibrates low, they will bring you down. If you sleep with someone who vibrates high or thinks high, they will bring you up. They will raise you. You see, so just understand who you're dealing with. Understand who you're giving your body to. That way you don't end up hurt. And understand that if you go into a relationship with someone, it does not mean that they cannot walk away. People change their minds. The one thing in life that's consistent is change. People change, right? So understand that if someone makes a decision to move forward with you and then they change their mind due to not feeling like it's going the right way anymore, they have every right to do that. You shouldn't trap a person because they've made a decision, or obligate them to a decision because they made it when they were believing that they had something. You see, we don't know each other. A lot of us, we look at the vessel, we get shallow. We see something we like and we go for it. So the problems that we are experiencing is because we don't know ourselves. And I don't mean ourselves as in our soul, I mean our vessel. We don't know our vessel. We don't know our brain and how it works, our bodies and how it works. And therefore we blame the person when they experience losing interest or losing that magnetism that they once had for you. It's not their fault necessarily. We should be more responsible to choosing who we allow to lay with us. You see what I'm saying? So just keep that in mind, and maybe you can avoid a lot of the problems that you're having in your relationships.